everybody, Roze here. So we're kind of in that transitional period where we're not busting out Christmas gifts, but we're going to be going into winter. So I thought maybe we tried to do some winter stuff. I've been so incredibly busy that I haven't even had time to even think about crochet. Thought we would try to do this. It's really, really awesome with this cross stitch. Just a very simple beanie with this really cool detail. So what we're going to need is, love making my hats with the H hook, 5.0 millimeter. We're going to do our scissors. You can have a stitch marker if you need, and you can also have one of these counters if you need. So what I'm going to use for yarn today is, I found this gem underneath my chair in my craft room. That's a whole other story right there. And I thought, you get to come out today. This is from Michael's. Oh, my husband got me a Michael's gift card. I'm going to have to go and get some more. This is Michael's Value, and it is in the color, I pronounce it mauve. Mauve? Mauve. But it's actually really soft, and I like that, so I thought I'd give it a try. This one is, I think, made out of Joann's Big Twist Value. I'm pretty sure. Not 100 on that. But I love that pink. So, go get your supplies, and I will meet you right back here. Okay, let's do this. All right, so we're going to start with a magic circle. You can also do a chain 2 and do all your stitches into that first stitch, but I'm going to go ahead and do my magic circle. And once you secure it, we're going to do a chain 2. So you're going to have 2 chains. And what we're going to do for this first round is we are going to do 10 double crochets into our circle. So we're going to yarn over, go into your circle, grab your yarn, pull up, and have your 3 loops, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. This is where you would put your first stitch marker, in the top of this one right here. Okay. And we are going to do 9 more double crochets in the circle. And I like to keep my magic circle pretty small. It gives me a lot more control. And especially in my working space, I keep it pretty small so that my circle doesn't run away from me. So when we get to the end of this, we will have 10 double crochets in our magic ring. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. That's what it is. I don't have my light over here. 8, 9, and 10. All right, so I'm going to pull this shut. I'm going to show you a little trick. All right, so you're just looking at it, and you can see these V's pretty well, and then you start going around here. Now, once we get to here, see how this one looks all twisted? And then this one starts, this first one right here, it looks like it belongs. This is actually your first double crochet right here. This chain 2, if we were to dissect this a little bit, you turning it, then you'd be able to see that this is actually the top of that chain 2. So a lot of times when we do those chain 2, chain 3, it always wants to like fold over. So when you're doing your double crochets and stuff, if you look at the one that looks like a normal stitch, 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to be right. I'm not going to say 100% because it'll be probably me that'll be like, oh, I went into the wrong stitch and then all my stitches are off. So we're going to do a slip stitch into that first double crochet. And you should still have 10 double crochets. All right, round 2, we're going to chain 2. And just for the sake of these rounds, we're going to pretend like that's going to count as a stitch, okay? And then where we joined, we're going to put another double crochet in that stitch. Okay, so now we have 2. And in each of these double crochets, we're going to put an increase, which is 2 double crochets. And I'm going to go ahead and take my tail. As I put it back in the back, I'm going to wrap it. And then there's 3 and 4. Next stitch. 5 and 6. And that's what we're going to do all the way around. 2 double crochets in each stitch, and we're going to have 20 double crochets at the end of this round. And I will meet you there and show you how we're going to join. Okay, so here we are. And it looks like we should be putting more in there, but this right here is actually our slip stitch. And then we did that chain 2. So right now I have 20 double crochets. We're going to go into that slip stitch and we're going to add another one. So that's now 21 stitches. And this is how we're going to be doing it. We're going to skip that chain 2 and we're going to go into that top of that first double crochet with a slip stitch. Okay. Boom. Round 2 done. Let's continue our increase. It's going to be pretty standard. We're going to do our chain 2. And then in that first stitch, we're going to put another one. So now we have our 2 double crochets. This next stitch is going to get 1 double crochet. Okay, pull our next set. We're going to do an increase in this one. So it'll be 1 and 2. Right back in there. And then in the next stitch, and pull it apart. If you can't see where the top of your stitches are, just pull it apart. Find it. And it'll be 1 double crochet. So in this next set, we're going to do 2 double crochets in 1, followed by 1 double crochet. Increase, and then 1. Increase, and 1. And at the end of this one, we're going to have 30. So we're going to do 1 and 2, followed by 3. 1 and 2. Followed by 3. And I'll meet you again at that slip stitch. Again, got that slip stitch right there. I'm going to do a double crochet into that for my 31st stitch. Skip that chain 2 and go into the top of that double crochet with a slip stitch. Okay, and before I do anything, if you need to, I should have said this on the first round, if you can't see that slip stitch, you can put your stitch marker right in there. And then that's going to help you see it if you need to, because I'm a very visual person. If I see it, then I can do it. Here we go, chain 2. We are starting round 4, and yeah, you're Your work is going to be looking like this right now, or at least mine is. No matter. As it grows, you know, and we'll probably put our hand on it and stretch it a little bit, it'll line it out like a pancake. Round 4, we are continuing with our increase. We've done our chain 2 for our first double crochet. We go right back into our joining with another one. So that's 1 and 2, followed by 3 and 4. So we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. There is our 3, next one, 4. Okay, that's what I call as a block. So real quick recap. For this next block, for this round, is going to be 1 and 2, 1 and 2, followed by 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet. That's our, what I'm calling a block. So again, do 1 and 2, followed by 3, 4. Okay. I've explained it more in other videos, so I'm going to try not to dawdle too much. Okay, and that's how we're going to be doing that. 1 and 2, 3, 4. And at the end of this one, we're going to have 40 double crochets. I'll meet you back down at the end. I am going to go ahead and put a little bit of heat on it. Stretch it a little bit. Okay. And then in that slip stitch, I'm going to do another one. I'll skip my chain 2 and go to the top of that one with a slip stitch, chain 2. And now we're starting row 5. We're going to be doing 2 more rows of increases. So there's our first double crochet. Go back into there. And this is how this block is going to look. It's going to be an increase, 1 and 2, followed by 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. So it's going to equal 5. So that's 1 and 2. Here's 3. Next one, 4. Next one, 5. Next block, 1 and 2, followed by 3. Next one is for number 4. The last one is number 5. Pretty standard, isn't it? Especially when you find a way that works for you, like this counting bit breaks it down enough so that I'm not getting lost along the way. Next one, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5. And at the end of this one, we will have 50 double crochets. And I'll see you at that slip stitch. Are you guys going to make any kind of resolutions or goals? With all the things that have happened to me this year, one of the main things I think I'm going to be doing is letting go. And that has not been an easy combination of words in my lifetime, but I guess the real quick story, if I can do this and count at the same time, 1 and 2, is I left my job after 17 years there. As you guys know, I've been grooming for 30 years, so I've been at my other job. I was there for 17 years, but it literally just got to where there was no communication, there's no teamwork. There's no consideration, no customer service. It was just, it really had just gone down the old shitter, if you will. I probably shouldn't say the S word on YouTube, but you know, what can I do? And that was, I mean, it's really had been going down since 2016, but you know, I'm a fighter when it comes to trying to make things work. I will just work until it just completely doesn't. And my whole mental state was just in disarray. And so I finally one day just had enough, to where I just literally didn't care if I was going to be sacking at the local Walmart. I mean, I just really just didn't care. I didn't care if I was grooming anymore. I completely lost control of myself. I'm trying to count and do this. It's so funny. But I saw an ad, and I was, you know, I'm 50 years old, but I was just flat out afraid. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I was just flat out afraid. But I did it. I went and talked to her. She loved that I had so much experience. And, you know, long story short, I put in my notice. And yeah, I did. I put in my 2-week notice, even though I want it to be like deuces, you know. But I can go back anytime I want. I never burn bridges unless, well, I don't think I've ever burned any bridges that I'm aware of. I try very hard to do things my way, which is to always not burn bridges, I guess is the... All right, here I am. Back at my slip stitch. And yeah, another double crochet in there. And then I'm going to join the top of that. And I'm going to chain 2. I really like this color. We're starting round 6, our last row of increases. So we're going to go back in there and do another double crochet, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 double crochets. So it's going to be an increase followed by 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be a total of 6 stitches. So here's number 3. Next one. Number 4. Next one. Number 5. And last one. Number 6. So I'm going to count up to 6 for this block. So it'll be 1 and 2. 3. Whoops. 3. 4. 5. And 6. So we've just done 2 blocks. So I'm going to continue that pattern all the way around, which is an increase, 1 and 2, followed by 4 double crochets. Okay, and I will meet you at the end of this row. I don't know if I'm going to be doing myself any favors, but it's, I'm working for Rover's Makeover. And if you, some of you may already know that, she has a YouTube channel, which I wasn't really fully on. I guess I usually like to watch abandoned videos, like abandoned house videos and stuff. I don't know why. That's like my go-to thing, or like crochet stuff. So I don't really watch a lot of dog grooming, but that's who I'm working for. And It's not been easy. It has not been easy, but we finally have crossed a point. I've been there nearly 4 months. We've crossed a point where I'm able to relax enough, and she's able to relax enough to where I can get to what I want, which is I just want to have fun at work. I need to be silly and quirky and goofy, and I don't even care, because life is hard enough, and work is such an important part of my life. I need to make it as fun as I can. Otherwise, what am I doing? I mean, I get to work with dogs, and yeah, some of them are really difficult and really hard, and I've even had to not be able to do some. But it's been a unique experience for sure. And that's been 2021 for me. And even doing YouTube, it's definitely out of my comfort zone. But I guess I'm just me. And I hope you guys are just being you. We got to be true to ourselves. People are going to like us or they're not. And I don't deliberately try to make anybody not like me or anything, but I don't want to just be serious all the time. There's too many things to laugh at and have fun with. So that's my little speech. Gotta have fun in 2022. I mean, it's my favorite number, first of all. And so that's why I've decided I'm not really making resolutions or whatever word you want to use. I just want to have fun. Be responsible and do what I need to do, of course, but find joy. And I am going to go and count this because I have a sneaky suspicion. Well, I'll be darned. I did not mess up. So there's that last double crochet to be number 60. Let's do in our slip stitch little trick. And then we're going to skip that chain 2 and go to the top of that first double crochet. I'm just going to do a chain 1 for now. Okay, now, so that was row 6. So this would be a good time if you want. We're going to start row 7, and we're going to do 7, 8, 9. We're going to do 3 rows, double crochet. Okay, starting row 7. Okay, so I have 60 double crochets. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to I've done my join, and I'm doing my chain 1. And now I'm going to go ahead and chain 2, as we've been doing. And then I'm going to go back in there, and I'm going to do a double crochet. I'm ignoring this. So my first stitch is actually the top of that first one, right there. We're just going to ignore this now. And then we're going to do 1 double crochet in every stitch around. And we should still have 60. And I'll meet you when we get closer back here. 9 and 60. Okay, so I want to keep 60. So I am not going to be going into that slip stitch. And I've already said that we're going to skip this chain 2. And then since I marked it, that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go in the top of that first double crochet. So I still have 60. So what we're doing, that was row 7. We're going to start row 8. And it's going to be the same thing. We did our chain 2 for height only. And then we're going to go back into that same stitch with a double crochet. And that's our first double crochet. So you can go ahead and mark that. And then again, we're going to go all the way around with 1 double crochet in every stitch. And I'll meet you again when we get back here. All right, so here's that one and that one, and then the last stitch. Okay, and again, just to remind you, we're not going in the slip stitch. We're not counting the chain 2, and we're going to go into that first double crochet with a join. Okay, chain 2. And so we're going to do that again. One more row. This will be row 9. Chain 2 does not count. I'm going to do a double crochet in that first stitch. And then we're going to do 1 double crochet all the way around. This will be our last stitch. Skip the slip stitch there, hiding, and the chain 2, and then join at the top of that double crochet. That's where I'll meet you. And then we're going to start on the cross stitch, which is a lot of fun, especially once you get going. All right, and now I'm to my last stitch, the double crochet, skip that slip stitch, skip that chain 2, and then we're going to join top. I'm just going to do a chain 1 to get it secure. Whew, yeah, love it. I like this color. I really like that together. I'm not a pink person, but you know, a little hint of pink here and there doesn't hurt nobody. We did our chain 1. Did our chain 1. Now we're going to chain up 2 more for chain 3. Now this is where we joined here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make this a double crochet. That's what we're going to call it. Now you see this last stitch? That's what we're going to go into, that last double crochet. And the way we're going to do that is you're going to yarn over. You're going to come towards you, down, poke it through there. Grab your yarn and pull it up. Yarn over 2 and yarn over 2. That's our first cross stitch, which looks funny. The first one does. Okay, let's do this again. So you see that this one, those loops are spoken for. Okay, so we're going to go to the next 2 that are free. We're going to skip this one, and we're going to go into this one with a double crochet. Okay, pull up 2, pull up 2. Okay, that was the easy part. Now we're going to get our hands on this one that we skipped, and we're going to put a double crochet in there, and that is a yarn over. Bring your hook towards you, down, and then it's straight down. Go through, pull it up, yarn over 2, yarn over 2. Now that's our second cross stitch. So this hoop right there is spoken for, so we're going to skip that. And then these are our next 2 that are free. So skip that one and go into the second one with a double crochet. Okay. Now go to that one we just skipped, and you're going to yarn over, bring your hook towards you, down, and then straight through that. And the way I'm doing it is I can feel my finger is like right behind there, so that I know that if I, for some reason, went too high, it's going to miss my finger. So bringing it in there, and then once I move my thumb out of the way, I can feel that I'm on point. Then I'm going to go through the back, grab it, and I'm going to pull it up toward me and straight up. Then we're going to finish our double crochet. And there we have 3. Let's do one more together. So this one is spoken for, so we're going to skip that for now, or well, we're skipping that. These are our next 2 that are free. So skip and then put a double crochet into that one. And then identify your one that you skipped. And I've got my fingers in place. I'm going to yarn over, bring my hook toward me, down, and then I'm going to poke my finger. And now I know I'm through. Yarn over, pull up. You just pull it up toward you and up, yarn over, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that's what we're going to do all the way around. And we should have 30 of these. Okay. So I'm going to go a little bit faster. That's spoken for. Skip, and we're going to do a double crochet here. I'm going to pick my one I skipped, my fingers in place, move my thumb out of the way. It's just a very sleight of hand too, just slides out of the way. 1, 2, 1, 2. Next 2 that are free. And this is our cross stitch. And once you get this, and I said it probably in the other one too, the placemat one. Once you get this motion down, boom. Yarn over, boom. Yarn over, boom. I mean, it really flies, but it's just getting your fingers to speak with the hook. You know, it all has to be fluid. So I know that, well, you can see the indent in my finger. That's where I'm poking for. That's the spot. So I've got it ready, what I'm going to need, and then I go through. Boom, boom. Got that spot on my finger. You can see it right there. That's when I know it. My thumb and my middle finger speak to my hook. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to cruise this thing all the way around, and we should have 30, but I will meet up with you before we get to when we get to our last one. I'll meet up with you there. Okay, so here's let me do this last one here and let me see where I'm at. All right. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to count real quick before I start talking. I'm just going to count these cross stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we're back around. Now, this is our first cross stitch. And if you remember, we did a chain 3, and then we did a double crochet into the last double crochet from the round before. So the stitch is technically already spoken for, but what we're going to do is we're going to put a double crochet into that stitch. So if we count these cross stitches, this would be 2, 4, 6, and you go all the way around, this would actually be 61 stitches. So we're going to skip this chain 3 and then go into the top of that first double crochet with a join with the chain 1. So we still have 60 stitches, and that's what we want to keep it at. All right, so we've got our that chain 1, So now we're going to go back in there right where we joined, and we're going to do a single crochet. And just because weird things have been happening all day, I'm going to go ahead and mark it. Now on the top of these cross stitches, which we should have 30 of those, and then on top we should still have 60 stitches. We're going to do one single crochet in each of those. So we will still have 60 stitches at the end of this row. So put one single crochet all the way around, and when we get to the end, I'll show you how to join. All right. Just as I suspected, that was 59. So that double crochet that we added is actually going to be 60, because as you remember, we skipped that first part of that chain, that on that cross stitch, we did that chain 3. We skipped over that and went over to the one that actually crosses. So now what we're going to do, we're still going to do that. We're going to go right where into that first single crochet that we made and join with the slip stitch. All right, so this is what we've got going on. Looks really pretty. All right, let's do another row of cross stitches. So we're going to go ahead and chain up 2 more. So we have a chain of 3 total. And then into that last single crochet, we're going to do our cross stitch. So we're going to just yarn over and go down into that last one. Do our double crochet. Okay, and then tug up a little bit. You can see it's attached. So we're going to go to the next 2 single crochets. We skip one, go to the next, and we're going to do a double crochet in there. Then go to the one we skipped, and then do our cross stitch. Okay, let's show you again. That one's spoken for, so we're going to cover it up. These are the next 2. Skip one, go into this one, and do a double crochet. Go back to that one. Got it marked out with my finger. Yarn over, go down in there, and then I'm going to finish my double crochet. So there we go. So that's our first set, and we're going to continue this all the way around, and we should end up with 30 cross stitches. That's 29. All right, and then we've got these last two stitches, so we're going to finish that out. Do one more cross stitch. And then again, even though that one is technically shared, we're going to go ahead and put a double crochet there and skip that chain 3. And it's kind of jumbly, but when I turn it, I can see that it's right there. I'm going to slip stitch to that and then do a chain 1. Okay. And then again on this row, we're going to go right back where we joined, and we're going to do a single crochet, and then each of these stitches we're going to put one single crochet all the way around, and I'll meet you at the end, and you should still have 60 single crochets. The monitor looks so dark. I hope it's not coming off like that. And then here we are with this train wreck here. That's what it looks like. So that's the last stitch we went into, and that's the top of that chain 3 that we skipped, and then we're into that first single crochet. and we're going to join to that first single crochet. And then again, we're going to chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. And then in that last single crochet, get my fingers set up for me. I'm going to do my cross stitch into there. There we go. So again, that one's spoken for. I'm going to skip one, go into this one and do my double crochet. And then here we go, cross back to that empty single crochet. And here we go, let's go. Skip one, double crochet, go back to that skipped one. See the next 2 single crochets. And please let me know, because I know I've definitely been speaking faster or not spending as much time on each row. If I'm going too fast, please let me know so that I can be adjusting myself. Don't want to lose anybody. We all go together. And then I'll meet you at the end, y'all. Okay, down to those last 2 stitches. Do that last cross stitch. And off camera, I'll count. Make sure. 8, 9, 30. Yes. And that chain 3. I'm going to skip that and we're going to follow this double crochet up and we're going to join to that. And then we do a chain 1 to lock it in. And this is what we got going on. Looking good. When I first did this, I didn't do the single crochet, and it doesn't look bad, but the single crochet really separates those cross stitches and really makes them stand out. This would probably be pretty if I did it all the way. I'll have to figure that out. Do that another time. But if you wanted, just so you know, you could continue this and just keep doing it, and you would have like a little bit of a slouchy hat. So that's something to keep in mind. It's really tempting to keep doing that. Maybe on the other one that I've got going. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start doing the brim. And what I'm going to do is I've done that chain 1, and this is the hole here. So I'm going to turn it toward me a little bit, and I'm going to go in between that V. I'm going to go in between that V, and I'm going to push out the back, also known as the back loop. And then we're going to do a single crochet. And just because I'm going to be safe, I'm going to mark that. So that's 1. And now I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go in between that V. I'm going to push out the back. Do another single crochet. And that's what we're going to do all the way around. Go in that back loop and do a single crochet. And for you people that are new, it does pull up like this, but don't worry, it will calm down and spring back. So if yours is doing that, that's perfectly normal. So go ahead and go all the way around. You should have 60 single crochets into the back loop. This will be 60. Okay, so now what it looks like is we went into that last back loop, and then there is that, actually that's that last double crochet that we added into that slip stitch, and then here's our V. But this is actually 60 here, so we're going to skip this chain 3, which is that crooked looking thing right there. And then we're going to go where we marked, which is the top of this double crochet. Okay, so we still have 60. slip stitch, and then we're going to do a chain 1. And so it's going to cause, doing that back loop, it makes this little ridge, which will be more pronounced on this next round. So this is where we joined. If you turn it a little bit, you can see those 2 loops. And then again, we're going to go in between those 2 loops, that V, and push out the back and get that back loop. And then we're going to do a single crochet in every back loop all the way around. And again, we will have our 60. And now it's just going to be pretty repetitive. We're going to join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch, and then we're going to chain 1. And then again, we're going to go right back in there. I didn't grab both my loops. Here we go. Join, chain 1, and then I'm going to go back in there, in between that V, which is really hard to see, and grab that back loop, and then I'm going to do a single crochet. And that is what we're going to be doing all the way around. I did a total of 5 rows on the pink one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to do 5 rows. We have 2 more rows to do, and then I'll meet you back and we will finish this up. All right, coming around, and I tried it on after the 5th row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I decided for me I wanted to go ahead and do 1 extra row. 9 and 60. All right, now all we're going to do is just join to that first single crochet with the chain slip stitch and a chain 1. And since it's a hat, I think I will go ahead and do about 8 or 10 inches. Really sew that bad boy in. Also, another little trick is we've done a chain 1. I'm going to go ahead and do another chain. Pull that through. And then I'm going to take my nail and I'm going to lock that down. I mean, that is not coming out. So, sew this in real quick. That's my overkill for this video. I'm just going to get down. In case you're new, I just wanted to get down a little bit. And now I'm just going to start going across and picking up some. Just some of it, not the entire thing. It's not going through some of those top layers. And now, where it came out, I'm going to skip over that and go back and pick up some more. And that should be more than sufficient, but I'm just going to go down a little bit more. Come out. And I'm going to skip where I came out and go back over the top. Then I'm just going to pull that a little bit and cut it flush. All right, let me get this, try this on real quick. Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay. You know, normally this hat, you could probably, if you really get flowing, could just crochet this in probably an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours at the most. It is now 5:20, people. It's been a day. But yeah, worth it. Especially once I get it edited. Be nice. But yeah, I love it. This would be really cute as a beanie. I mean, not a beanie, but a slouchy, and just do that all the way down. Be thinking about that. I'm already thinking about, because remember I had mentioned about having a head warmer. I think I'm going to make a cross stitch head warmer. I'll do a tutorial for that. That way we have a matching set. Okay. Alrighty, you guys. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye.